My name is Logan.
My name's Gary.
And we are the owners of Collins Coupe and Tablespoon. Well, we started Collins Coupe in 2017, so it's been a while now. And that was sort of born out of a need for this type of business to exist, which is kind of how we've started almost everything we've done.
Yeah, there was nowhere to really find cocktail supplies. The internet, but like I wanted to be able to go somewhere and shop for things and have like a huge selection of bitters in one place, and glassware and all the stuff that you just can't find anywhere else. So no one else was doing it, so we opened the store.
Yeah, we did not know what we were doing. I was working at a home decor design company, and I actually continued on in that job for another 6 years after that, and got laid off last year.
I was working as a model designer at Legoland, and I got laid off from that job and decided, well, it's time to start doing this. So,
yeah.
And then we just opened Tablespoon
a month ago?
Last month.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's still, as of the date that we're recording this, it is September 30th.
That's true.
So
it is still this month.
We opened the first weekend of this month. Right. So it's not even a month old yet.
Yeah. It's nice that they're right next to each other. That's great.
Yeah.
Makes it a lot easier to like deal with inventory and staffing and stuff with having things right next to each other.
Yeah, we've attempted some other ventures across town here and there, just like booth spaces and things, and it's just a lot to go to multiple locations, so it's great having everything in one place.
Yeah.
Not under one roof. We're actually two separate buildings right next to each other, but we're right here. So if you're coming to shop at one store, go check out the other.
The other stuff that we do is sort of like event planning, catering kind of stuff. So it really just makes sense that we have businesses that focus around cocktails and food and that kind of thing. So it's definitely not too far off, really. If anything that we're doing, it's all kind of tied into each other.
Yeah, we do some dining events with our supper club, which is called Cellar Door. We've been doing that for
13 years.
Yeah, 13 years now. And I've been using all kinds of ingredients and things from the store here at Collins Coupe for years now. And now that we have a store that focuses on kitchen over at Tablespoon, Logan can start using some of those ingredients in the food that we use. And actually a lot of what we carry over there is things you're already using. Yeah,
like all of the sort of kitchen tools and stuff, they're things that I use in my own kitchen as a chef, so I don't have anything over there that I think you don't need to use, which I think most kitchen shops are just sort of like fill it up with whatever you can find, even if it's cheap or expensive or doesn't work or does work. But I've tried everything in there and it works, and it's, durable and affordable, so that's kind of the whole plan there.
Yes, I bought that mandolin sensor.
Yes.
Oh my god, I love it.
Yay!
It's like my new favorite thing.
Just be careful with your little fingies.
Yes. No, yeah.
Sometimes it's actually just people asking for certain things that we maybe didn't carry before, or maybe didn't use on our own. Gary was just telling a story the other day at a class where we carry this specific peeler that's definitely not cute, but it is one that bartenders all use. And so we sought it out and started carrying it in the store. And we still, 2 years went by before Gary started using it, and just took one home to like try it out.
I
was still peeling with like a hand, the knife, like a blade, and
I'd been using it for years because I didn't have the right tool.
And then brought the peeler home, and he was like, God damn it. What have I done? What have I been doing with my life? And so that's kind of fun too. Like, people will bring things to our attention, and I think it's always been kind of like a point of pride for us that we will try to find anything that anybody asks us for.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I've asked stores to find something for me, and I just I'll never hear from them again. So it always makes me happy when I can call somebody and say like, hey, we got that thing you were looking for, like, come and get it. Yeah. And that's always nice. I think it helps our like customer service and all that.
Yeah. Also, I think we're really passionate about like vintage hunting, finding cool old things. That's both here with vintage glassware and barware, which is even harder to find.
Yeah.
But also next door at Tablespoon, we have lots of vintage kitchen supplies and old tools. And
some really cool and some just really sort of silly. And
Yeah.
neat. Like there's a spoon over there that I don't even know if it actually works, but the top of the spoon, it's like a serving spoon, has like a thermometer in it. So I guess you can just like figure out what temperature your soup is before you pour it. It's very, it's kind of weird, but it's fun. It's like, you know, the 70s were a wild time, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I like to think of myself as like recent history anthropologist of items. Like finding cool old stuff that like we don't ever use anymore. Our house is like part museum, pretty much, part cocktail and food museum. I mean, you name it, we've been. I think estate sales are hard because they tend to now be like a lot of resellers, which you got to get up so early.
Which I get. You got to get up really early, and a lot of times it's like vintage resellers, which and that's a hard job. It's a grind to do that. I've tried to do it as like sort of an eBay kind of thing, and it's a lot. And so those people are very dedicated to what they're doing, and they are very cutthroat, and I don't blame them for that. And I would much rather just stumble upon. And we have so much, like what you see here is probably like 20% or less of what we actually have in storage that we've just been slowly bringing into the shop.
We were planning for years before we opened the store, so we were just boxing stuff up and saving it. So we had a whole
mystery boxes.
By the time we opened, we had a whole storage unit just about full of glassware. And we still find it here and there. I think you brought in
I brought in some little pieces. Airline, first class airline glassware yesterday. I found some 2 little guys. So things like that we'll still pick up, but it's pretty choosy. The kind of things we buy now. I know which ones are my favorite.
Go ahead.
Should I get them and show you?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So this piece here I found at a garage sale, at a thrift store in Oceanside. And I was like, that's cool. So this hollow stem glassware is sort of an era. It's usually like 20s to 40s. It's meant for champagne. And the way that it works is that it's sort of meant to have imperfections and even like dust inside of it. So when you pour a bottle of champagne, the bubbles will attach to all the imperfections, and it makes your glass of champagne more bubbly. So a lot of restaurants actually will tend to polish their champagne flutes with towels that can have a little bit more lint than other stuff. So it will actually create more bubbles. So these ones with a hollow stem, when you drink from it, it's like shooting up this like bubble like fountain from the center. It's really, really cool. And so I found this piece, and it has etching on it. It says Pearl, and one side it says May 29th, 1926. And I thought that was super cool. And a lot of times the etched glassware doesn't really move very quickly, but I like to buy it anyway. And so this was here for a while, and then almost a year later, I found this one at the same thrift store with a different person's name and the same date. And so I was like, let's figure this out. And so my staff and I did a bunch of research, and we found out that Pearl and Lauren had a daughter named Grace, who was born on this date. So these were gifts to them for the commemoration of the birth of their daughter in 1926, and I happened upon both pieces over the course of a year at the same thrift store. And so now I have them.
98 years old now.
Yeah, and she lived to 90 years old. She passed away in 2017. So.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I still have these pieces. I don't know who will buy them, but I like that they exist, and I priced them to hang out with me for a while. And I think the right person will think that that's really special, and maybe they'll use them as a wedding toast glass or something like that. So anyway, and that happens a lot with like our vintage, is we'll find some really special, interesting things, and they'll sit here for years, and then exactly the right person will come, and they'll be like, this is so cool. I've been like wanting this, or I didn't know I wanted this, and now I do. And they'll be super stoked, and they'll end up with it. So that's usually how it works. We have like a little, I sometimes will joke that we have like an adoption agency, and like, you know, that the cat with the one eye and like sort of like a screwed up ear, that someone will finally come in and be like, this is the cutest cat I've ever seen. Yeah. So those are my favorite.
Great
what about
choice.
you? What's your favorite?
This is probably one of the most common cocktail books, like cocktail recipe books. It's still in print, but this is the third printing, the third edition of the Mr. Boston's 70, it was the 49th edition. So I think this one is the 40.
The 50th, maybe?
Maybe the 50th edition. This is the 3rd edition. So from 1936. It's a really cool book, and it's got some great illustrations in it. And
you don't see illustrations like that anymore.
No.
yeah, and I love
It
when
just
you
makes you
find
want to
these
get all the tattoos.
old books with like where somebody like will like inscribe it, like put their date, their like name and date in it. Or like if it was a gift to somebody, that's kind of cool too.
Yeah.
So it's a cool book. It's just all these old, this is the index, all these old cocktail recipes. Some are totally
Like defunct.
like gone to the ages. Some of them are still getting
Like
made
the cablegram highball.
Yeah.
Or the corn
idea.
popper highball serves 10 people.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Uh-huh.
I mean, this one's cool too because it has
Ads.
illustrations,
Nice.
ads from. So, Mr. Boston's was a cocktail brand that is also like not really in use anymore. But it's cool. It's not only like a cool little bar reference, but it's like a little piece of history from 1936. Pretty cool.
Yeah. I actually, is not even close to the oldest thing. I have a glass from 1890 something.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that wine bottle holder right there.
That's right.
It's from the 1880s.
Centennial.
Oh my gosh.
From Philadelphia Centennial Exposition. And then this is a Pan American Exposition Buffalo from 1901. It's got etching on it, you can kind of see. But yeah, so that's really, really cool.
This is, you would put a bottle of wine inside of it, and then it holds the bottle of wine so you can pour.
Ooh.
Yeah. We have the date we could figure out within.
Looks like about 17 years.
Yeah, that it was copyrighted, or what did they say? Patented in 1881. And then the company went out of business in 1898. So it's somewhere within that window.
Yeah.
But either way, it's from the 1800s.
Yes. That's
Pretty
so
wild.
Cool.
It's
That
pretty wild.
is.
Yeah.
Kind of cool to be like a little bit of a historian and look up all this stuff. I feel like we're on an episode of Antique Roadshow.
Yeah. Maybe someday.
I mean, you can already start like a
Right?
whole show on all of this.
I
stuff.
know.
Like,
I know.
it's so
Maybe
cool.
we will someday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah.
We do cocktail classes here. We've got this big middle table. We clear it all off, and people can have very hands-on experience. I guide people through classes, or I'll bring a guest instructor in.
It can be all like you and all your friends, or it can just be you show up and don't know anybody else here.
Yeah,
You do both formats?
You can book a private class with us, 6 to 12 people, and come hang out and learn how to make a couple drinks.
Mhm.
Or we've got a class coming up on October 25th. It's a Friday, and it's gonna be a good time. We're gonna make whiskey sours.
Yeah. And then we don't have any class stuff coming up at Tablespoon, but we do free tastings all the time. We have one coming up this Friday, free tasting. Lots of local products, so hopefully we will never run out of things to taste.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also going to be having a knife sharpener come out every third Saturday. So he's going to come set up, and you can bring your knives, and his pricing is like basically free. It's like $5 to sharpen a knife, which is crazy good. So come on down, bring your knives, and we're going to do a little bit of a cross promotion. Like you get your knife sharpened, you get a discount inside, and same the other way. So
Amazing.
yeah,
I love that.
Yeah.
How can people get either involved or like a newsletter for Supper Club?
The Supper Club info, it's at cellardoorsd.com. You can sign up there, and then same at collinsandcoupe.com or shoptablespoon.com. You can sign up for our newsletter for any of those things as well, right on the website.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for sharing like all
Of
of
course,
this. It's
yeah.
so cool.
Thank you.
I love
Thanks for
hearing
asking.
about it.
Maybe you come on and do coffee tasting sometime.
Oh yes, we would love that.
Yeah.